So now it's also a good idea to kind of showcase the thing in more detail. I don't know if this is going to be a separate video or the same one, but yeah. So let's take a look at the basket itself. Water. Goody. So here we have the desiccant drying basket. It was developed in, let's say, about 6 months or so, because I was making my own dry box solution, which in the end didn't go anywhere because I didn't end up using it because I just didn't trust it. But I still needed something to dry my desiccant with, so I got myself the PolyDryer with, well, yeah, the PolyDryer. I got a few boxes, and well, how do you dry the desiccant? Sure, they say you could dry it just by running the machine. My trust in that wasn't as high as the rest of the solution, so I thought, you know what, I could try and design my own drying solution that goes with this. I was designing a generic all-in-one drying basket before that, because I was thinking of getting a food dehydrator, much like everybody else. But at the end, my problem was that I didn't know how to properly make the mechanism for putting the desiccant in, taking it out, and it just felt a bit wonky. So I decided to basically make a one-use product, object, thingy. Yeah, so it is a half shape. Basically, it is the size of the Polymaker spools, but basically any spool goes in it, so this is just a general outline shape that worked. It was raised up for stability and, well, expansion of volume, the volume that you could use. It has feet, so you can safely put it down. You can't accidentally tip it over, and when it's full, it's really, really stable. The feet themselves have holes and slits on either side, and they are connected so that there's more stability during, well, filling and during print, because this is a no support solution, so basically just set it to print and let it go. Now, let's see this side. So the top you see is basically a flat or a non-transparent flat. This is a mesh, this is not. There we go. So basically this signalizes or showcases the fill line of the desiccant, because on the top here you see these areas here. Let's see if I can tilt it. So it is about this place area where you should fill the desiccant. So if it goes over, you can still see it, but it's at the point of it's starting to cover the top. It can still cover the top, that is not an issue, but it's just a nice guide because you can't really tell how full it is looking, well, that easily. So this is a nice guide, but from the top you can even see once the top is filled that it's filled enough. And again, it's about 750 grams. Now, the spacing between the mesh itself, it is, I think, 1 millimeter with the thickness of the, I think it's 1 millimeter, maybe 2, let's say 1. The thing is 1 millimeter thick, and the supports in between are, I think, 2 millimeters. There's no reason for it except stability and strength, so you could technically step on it with your weight. I am 86 kilos, so this can take my weight easily. Yes, I did try it, and I'll elaborate further. Now, well, let's say this. So because this has slits, slots, whatever, it can go in either of these holes, and you can basically shake it up to redistribute it. And because there's a separation here, there's not going to be a chance of unevenly dried desiccant, because well, there's literally holes in between this, so the air just passes straight through. While we're here, we have these nice little supports here, as well as in between, and on the side you see these little, well, stripes going this way and that way. From the top you can actually see these. They're a few millimeters long and I think 1 or 2 millimeters thick. As well from this side. So basically this is part of the thing that makes this, I'm not going to say indestructible, but enough to put your whole body weight on it. And you're not supposed to be like gentle with it, like it's made to last. It went through a lot of iteration for it to be basically indestructible in day-to-day use. And even if you want to try to destroy it, I'm going to say good luck, but it's going to take you some time. So accidental destruction is not a thing. Now, why do I have these fishbone looking things here? Well, because when I designed this, these top things were quite flimsy. Like you could squeeze them and they would break. So these things offer so much support that basically you can't mess it up. And the handles here are enough for, let's say, 2 fingers or 2 hands or just 1 hand operation. So it's quite easy to use. And now we have, go ahead, fly. We have this little thing here. So this is sloped because, well, let's get this out of the way. This is a, well, residue. So this is the box, or let's say the storage solution, and the funnel. As you can see, it has slits, not slits, and I'm losing words. It has a diagonal thing and a slot here. So this means that when you put the drying basket in, it sits, not slits, it sits straight in, and there's not going to be any wobbling in it. Because the previous solution, it was basically just straight, and depending on how it printed, it could be kind of imperfect, and this is the way that makes it basically sit perfectly flush regardless of printer, and it doesn't even move anywhere. Now, let's check the bottom. So the bottom has these little standoffs, things, doohickeys. And basically it's what is used so the desiccant basket and the top part can connect to the basket. So it just goes like this. It could be a more snug fit, but realistically it should be easy to put on, take off. Whoops, there you go, camera, no touchy. And it is a nice, comfortable, well, fit. And as you can see, it has a bit of, well, there goes the desiccant. So here you can see it's a few millimeters deep. That basically means that when the desiccant goes in, it cannot rest on the ledges here, and it falls straight down. And the shape and design of this, it looks a little bit weird, but it's how it's able to print without any supports and just in one go. Now let's take a look at the top part, the other funnel. So this is, well, this is basically just the top part with some things to hook onto. So when you put it on the thing itself, you just slot it in. You can go from the front to the back. You can go the other way. You can even try to get it in like this. From the side is not that practical at all, so I can't see it properly. So there. It sits nice and flush. Of course, when I first printed it, I think it was a little bit more snug, but after some use, it is basically just loosened up. Now, the hole here is where this can go through, It is designed to be printed this way, which is why the top part here is flat and why this part here is flat, just because that is a certain bridge where on certain settings, or let's say basic settings, you don't need to work out how to make it work. It just does it really well at a certain size. Yeah. So, additionally, as you can see here, it's a little bit thicker. That is for when you slot it in. You can hold it here and it puts pressure on the handles here. So you can actually hold it like this. I don't really recommend it, but you can. So it's just an additional safety feature, because this is where you're adding so much pressure and it just alleviates a lot of the pressure and adds structural integrity. And in the end, you basically just slide it back in and it's perfectly flush. And yes, it is omnidirectional. Yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. As I said, it is available on basically any platform, 3D printing site that I know of. It is free. Donations are accepted. But since this is an actual 3D printing tool or assistance thingamajig, I decided, and well, since it's kind of logged down to a certain other pay-to-use tool, yeah, I just decided to make it free in order to support the community. Yeah, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Now, just for reference, this is the original first final prototype, the alpha of the desiccant dryer, of the BasketCase. So, straight off the bat, you can see that there's no connections here, and the, the slots here are much more, let's say, dotted and not straight. This is much higher. There's no reason for it, just design choices. These are very much irregular. The distancing is about the same, with the big caveat being the supports between are literally just 2 passes of 1 millimeter filament. In this case, it's also PLA, so it's much tougher for what it is. But yeah. The sides are not as thick, and there's many more errors here, so I've thickened them up just so there's consistency in printing. We don't have the notch here. Notch? Is it a notch? Let's call it a notch. For easy storage. And this was basically almost unchanged. Also, these handles here. Yeah, basically the main reason when I finished this and didn't go with being it the final version is because of this. When this was done, everything else was basically finalized, and I called it quits. But the problem is when you put the top part in, I don't know if you can see it, but there is, I don't know if you call it, there is a gap. So desiccant could be caught in the gap. So when you took off the top part, basically every piece of desiccant that was stuck here flew away, fell out, and that was one of the biggest issues that I had with this. It is not structurally sound. I mean, it actually kind of is. It actually works really well. But it was all around weaker. You could accidentally destroy it. And when I put it in, it rattled. Now, if I put the top part in, sure, now it's level. On this side, it is not leveled anymore. And the bottom part, well, it's much thicker, so a lot of wasted space technically, and not as perfect print. I think this is for the second time I'm going to have to say thank you for watching. There we go, now it's all good. Bye-bye!